it's going to take over. And if you're going to say it's not, you're delusional. I mean, you are delusional because AI is coming, dude. Welcome back to your Joyage. I'm Cade, your guide, and I'll be replacing the little voice inside your head for now, just to give you a break from the constant internal monologue that is the human mind. If you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and drop a like in this video so other people can find the voyage. Today we got a wide variety of topics, but they're mainly going to circle around finance, investments, because it's big right now. Everybody's talking about it. I don't think it's just my For You page. I don't think it's just my YouTube suggestions. It's becoming mainstream, and I'm very happy because it hasn't been. It's never really been mainstream. No one really talks about it. And the thing is, while it's becoming mainstream, I find that most of the people I talk to don't invest or are too scared to invest or don't quite understand it. So the reason I want to make this podcast almost all entirely focused around finance is because I understand the basics. I understand the fundamentals rather. And for the most part, for 90% of you, that's going to be more than enough. That's all you really need to know. And the only reason I know more than just the basics, but I'm not really going to dive that deep into it, is because they're not really that necessary. I just find it really interesting, and I like the idea of working toward a goal of financial freedom. I don't really want to be super rich. I just want to not have to worry about money. And I feel like that's really a common interest in most people. Most people don't want to worry about money. And when you don't have to worry about money, that erases many problems and many anxiety-inducing thoughts that, for me, almost all of them are reduced down to money, because there's a lot of things I do that I enjoy doing, but in the back of my head, I worry that I should be doing something to make money. And I don't know. I'll never know what it's like to live without having to worry about money until it happens, and I'm sure a new plethora of problems will present themselves once I don't have to worry about money, and I don't know what that's going to be, but I'd much rather worry about those than money. So I understand the fundamentals, I understand the basics of investing. If you don't, or if you want to maybe learn something new, maybe I know something that you haven't heard of, or maybe I explain it in a new way that helps you open your mind up to a new idea or perspective of investing on specific things. I'm going to be talking about digital currencies. We got Bitcoin, we got Dogecoin coming up, we got Ethereum, we have the whole S&P, we have Tesla, we have all those stocks that people hear about, but not everyone understands fully. And I'm a firm believer that if you can't explain it, then you do not know it. So I'm going to do my best. We'll see what happens. So something that's been really just in the news is Bitcoin, digital currencies. Everybody is talking about it. Okay, everyone and their grandma has heard of Bitcoin. It's been exploding. It hit a record high of $58,000 per Bitcoin over the weekend, which is nuts. It is absolutely insane. And it dropped off a little bit, and some people are freaking out. They're saying, hey, it's too risky. Don't invest in Bitcoin. You don't know what's going to happen. And here's what I have to say to those people. 1 year ago, Bitcoin was trading at a few $1,000s. Okay, it's at $55,000. While there has been a lot of noise around Bitcoin, really not that much until somewhat recently, in the last half year or so, now that it's in the limelight, now that Tesla just bought almost $2 billion worth of it, Apple's starting to offer it, one other big company hopped on board, you're going to see that it's kind of like a stampede waiting to happen. Everyone is going to start using Bitcoin in some capacity. A lot of banks are going to start offering the option to use Bitcoin only to just buy into the hype. And the hype is just going to keep adding to the flame. The hype isn't what's really giving this thing value, because it already has the value. It's a very real thing. It's not like a meme. It's not Dogecoin, And Bitcoin is something very real that's threatening the entirety of the stock market, the entirety of cash, gold, all those things. It's threatening it because it's offering a new way to do money and do it in a decentralized way that hasn't been thought of. So an analogy you can use to better visualize this, maybe if this isn't quite making like a lot of sense, we're basically reinventing the internet, like Google. Okay, Google for money has just been gold. Like the gold standard has been how it's always been, and now Bitcoin is trying to rival it. They're trying to come up with the Google Chrome instead of Safari, or a Google Chrome instead of Internet Explorer. That's basically what this is. And Ethereum is basically the platform they're going to use that with. Ethereum isn't so much like a currency. It's more of like the way in which we will do digital currencies, if that makes sense. Bitcoin is kind of the actual currency, But yeah, Bitcoin's trying to rival it, and it's gonna win. It's gonna win. I mean, we already are in the digital age. Everything is digital. VR is coming soon. Pokemon Go, like the virtual reality, it's gonna take over. And if you're gonna say it's not, you're delusional. I mean, you are delusional, because AI is coming, dude. Tesla is coming. I mean, look at the things they're talking about. I mean, in a few years, we're going to be talking about solving, illnesses that are so awful that you could never imagine, because Elon Musk is going to invent some kind of chip that goes in your head. And then 10 years after that, it's going to become commercialized and recreational use is going to happen. And before we know it, like, we're going to be like semi-pseudo living in a very, very cyborg-like world. But it's not going to be like that, We're not just going to wake up one day and be part robot. Like, it's not going to be like that at all. It's going to be very, very slowly integrated into society in a way that we won't really notice, and it's not going to be, like, bad. It's just going to make sense. You're like, okay, this solves a problem for me, makes my life easier, makes my life more efficient, whatever it is. But regardless of whether or not you think it's evil, bad, scary, it's going to happen. And it only makes sense that Bitcoin and the currencies are going to follow suit. And so you need to just know the bare minimum. Okay, Bitcoin is worth $55,000 about, for like the past few months. That we can just agree is very, very expensive. And what you can also agree on is it's going to go up. All right, even if it's going up and down, like tomorrow it's 53, the next day it's 58, it doesn't really matter, okay? I mean, yeah, you can make a few extra $100 if you put in some money now versus tomorrow or whatever. But in the grand scheme of things, you're looking at like a year. You're looking at 5 years, 10 years down the road. It's going to be worth 10 times what it is now. So don't worry about trying to buy Bitcoin tomorrow versus the next day because it's going to be $1,000 more. Those numbers don't matter, because when we're investing, we're trying to create wealth and trying to increase your own net capital, like the total amount of money you have and you own. When you're investing, you're trying to grow that, right? Your total investment portfolio is about growing as a whole. And so the little small things, don't worry about that. Don't put $100 into Amazon and then Amazon makes a mistake tomorrow and their stock goes down 5%. Don't worry about that, because Amazon's going to keep going up. So it takes a small dip, but the trajectory is going to be positive for some companies. And there are some that are safer than others. Like if you want to put your savings account, like 95% of it, into an investment versus your savings account at Wells Fargo, you want to put that into something like Google or Apple or Amazon, not Tesla. Right? Because if you need that money at a minute's notice, you don't want to put it in Tesla, because Tesla might do something crazy tomorrow and their stock might drop 50%. It'll probably go back up, but if you need that money tomorrow, you want something that's a little bit more safe for that type of thing. If it's money that you kind of need, but you're like, maybe I'll let it grow a little bit. Put it into something like Amazon or Google or something like that, because it's safe and you're going to get better return than a freaking bank, You're pretty much losing money in the bank. Have you ever put money in a savings account and come back later and like seen growth other than the money you're putting in? You don't grow at all. There's no interest really that helps you in a bank. So what I did is I have 90% of my savings account inside of like Amazon, Google. Those are the things I'm putting that in, or the S&P 500, because that's like the total of all like the best companies, the top 500 companies in the world, which are going to keep growing because there's a reason they're the top 500 in the world. They're the best. They're the most innovative. They're the ones that are winning, right? So when we're investing, when you're thinking about getting in and you're young, you're a beginner into the market, just like I am, and maybe you don't know much, you need to do some research and just get a base understanding of what's going on. You are betting, okay? You're taking educated gambles, educated risk taking. That's what investing is. And when you do things like a month ago when GameStop was happening, AMC was happening, Nokia, Dogecoin, that is called uneducated and FOMO investing, which is just it's kind of dumb. Because if you don't understand what you're doing, then you're literally just shooting darts in the dark. I mean, for some people, if you understood it, and then you kind of shot in the dark, at least you understand what you're doing, right? With things like GameStop and Nokia, the reason it didn't work is because 90% of the idiots out there who tried to jump on the wagon because of FOMO, fear of missing out, they didn't understand what was going on. Okay, the hedge funds are going to buy that stock back at some point. Right, so at some point, they're going to have to buy it all back, meaning it will go back up and you can make money. The problem is, most people, after 3 days, go, oh my God, they haven't bought it back. It's dropping in value. I got to sell it. I got to cut my losses. And for some people, maybe that's the best decision. But for most of you, if you just held it, it would have been fine. And eventually, at some point, they would have to buy it back and you could make your money back or make some profit. But the problem is, you didn't, for most of the people who freaked out, they didn't understand what they were doing. They just thought they could make money, but they didn't know why they were putting money here or what that even meant. And all you need to know, if you lost money at GameStop and you don't know why, you just tried to make money and it didn't work, and now you're pissed off and now you're never going to invest, you're screwed. Like, you can't think like that. What you're doing is you're gambling on a stock going up or down. When I put money into Apple, it's because I'm betting that over time it's going to get better and better and worth more. Okay? You pretty much can say that without, Apple's going to keep going. It's just a fact. Google is going to keep going. It's a fact. Unless something replaces it. And even if it does, like, Google's going to keep innovating, So there's certain companies that you can feel safe with that are probably going to at least get your money back. And when you're investing, all that's important is just growing steady over time. So I'll talk about some of my investments. So I got into it about a year ago through Dogecoin, which is hilarious. And I was a very, very early investor in Dogecoin. Just because of TikTok, my friends wanted me to buy some. And I'd always wanted to get into investing, but I never really understood it. And so I didn't know what I was doing. This was dumb. This is what most people did. I just happened to get lucky here. I put in $200 of Dogecoin, and it went up a little bit. I freaked out, but I didn't sell because I thought it would go higher. So I ended up keeping it in, which was a blessing. And a year later, Dogecoin again picked up, but like 20 times. And that $200 investment turned to $6,000. And again, I held a little too long because I didn't fully understand what was going on. And it dropped back down, and I pulled out most of my money when it hit $4,000 for me. And I pulled out about $3,000 of that, and I'm putting it into Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin's, I can track it a little better. It's not fully dependent on Twitter and what Elon Musk tweets. Every time he tweets about Dogecoin, it shoots up and then dies back down the next day. So for me, I'm not a big fan of that. I think Dogecoin will just keep growing with the rest of them. That's why I'm keeping $1,000 in there. Just because I'm like, the chances of it shooting up 500% is random. I don't know. And I might as well just keep some money in there just in case. And if it does, I'm going to pull out most of that and put it into something a little bit more grounded and sturdy. You don't want to put your real money into something like Dogecoin because it's a meme. The whole concept is just dumb. And that's like what people like about it, which is cool. But you don't want to put in thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars because you're just asking to get ripped off. Like, something's going to happen. Dogecoin's going to close, like whatever, But that's not going to happen to Bitcoin. It's valued at $55,000. There's a $1 trillion cap on it. Bitcoin is not going anywhere. Dogecoin, I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen with Dogecoin. But yeah, so I have some money in Dogecoin, which was just a joke, but it happened to work out for me. I have a good bit of money in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Let's see what else I have. I have some money in the airlines. I have like $5,000 combined in the airlines and the Carnival Cruises, because I just think after the coronavirus pandemic thing, at some point people are going to travel again. It's going to go back up. I know I'm going to make my money back because it's already up a ton. And yeah, I bought it super low. I bought it at the probably like midpoint in the first year of the pandemic, and it's already gone up a good bit. And I know it's probably going to triple once the airlines are back in like full gear and everything. And once that happens, I'll sell 90% of that, because that's more of like a short stock. I'm just trying to make some quick money there, put it into something bigger. And there's a game called, I think it's called like the Rat Race. It's part of a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, which I highly recommend. If you want to learn about money and kind of how it works. And the concept of money is a little bit skewed, and the way most people look at it is not quite the best, most efficient, or proficient, prolific, whatever word I'm looking for. It's not the best way to look at money. The way we were raised, the way I was raised at least, was that you work hard, you save your money, and one day you'll be able to retire or whatever. But it makes more sense to make some money and then move the money into a way where it just brings you money back, and then you take that extra money and you put it into something else that's going to bring you more money back, and then you just keep doing that until you're working on bigger and bigger projects. And a lot of them end up, at least from the stuff I read, that you have eventually, like, everyone ends up into real estate in some way, shape, or form. And that's probably how I'm going to end up too, because it's interesting. But a lot of people are too scared to do something like that. So all you really need to know is, when I make my paycheck, when I get my $2,000 or whatever per month, or however much you're making a month, you get your money and you say, okay, what is the necessities I have to buy here, okay? And maybe your necessities pan out to $1,400, right? Your rent, your money for water, electricity, whatever it is, you pay for all that. You're left with like $400 left, okay? Most people take that $400 and $200 of it is spent on like dumb shit like alcohol or going out and getting a fancy dinner. But instead of that, take a portion of that, take $200 of that $400 or $300 or $400 or maybe all of it, and pick a stock that you think will go up. Play it safe. When you're just starting, pick Google. You know, if you're feeling a little more risque, pick Tesla, Bitcoin maybe. But if you want to be a little more conservative, but you don't want to put in a bank because the bank's not going to make you any money, putting in the S&P is a great idea because that's the top 500 companies in the market. You know, you pretty much can't go wrong there. So it's almost too easy. You're like, look, just put your money in the S&P instead of your bank and let it sit there. But it has to be money that it's extra, right? So take that extra. Once you understand how much you're spending about a month, when you get your paychecks, take the top part that you know is going to be left over and just put it in the stock market and forget about it. You do that for 10, 20 years and you will be done, because you'll be making so much money from that as passive income that you won't have to do it as much anymore, and you'll have even more money to play with. And if you choose to, you can even grow even more because you'll have so much extra money. You can put that into more investments, or you can, if you're good, if you don't need more money, then you can buy other things. But my point is, when you're young, especially like my age, like in the 20s, even 30s, dude, just put most of your money in the stock market. I know you don't understand it fully, but all you need to know is you're betting on companies doing better, and that's going to bring you money, you know? And that's it. There's nothing else really to it. That's all you need to know about it. And you can get it in this Robinhood, you know, literally just go into Robinhood. I mean, I know there's been a bunch of controversy, but for the most part, for what most people are doing, Robinhood will do. It's free. Well, technically it's free. They're charging you like a 1%, 0.1% extra on the stock, and they're taking that 0.1. So technically you're not paying for like a monthly thing, but regardless, Robinhood works. You know, just do that for a little bit. Once you feel a little bit better, you can start branching into other kinds, but it doesn't really matter. All that matters is you're taking steps to your financial freedom, because if that's what you want, you can have it. And I'm not there yet, so technically, like, I can't say that with full on, like, for sure it's going to happen, but I mean, dude, it just makes sense. You know, you put more money than you're spending, or more money than you're spending into something that's going to bring you more money. Like, why spend $30K on a car that's going to depreciate in value and bring you happiness for a couple weeks when you could spend it on something that's going to bring you money back? And then in 20 years you can buy that car and you won't be struggling for payments every month. You know, when you're struggling for money, you need to think of ways to either increase your income or buy things that are going to bring you more money back so that at some point you can increase your income. Like, you have to be increasing your income or finding some way to do it. And it's almost not okay anymore to not do that. Like, I see so many people now, it's so frustrating, who say they don't have money, say they barely made rent, they had to tap into their savings to pay for whatever last month because times are tough. And then the next day I see them like out at a restaurant spending like $150 on stupid shit. And I'm like, dude, I mean, yeah, you can do that every now and then, it's fine, but think about what your goals are. I mean, there are cheaper ways to do things. Like, you can drink cheaper stuff, you can go during happy hour. There are things you can do to cut down on that and spend money on just smarter things, dude. Like, do you really want to be thinking about money and whether or not you can buy this or buy that for your whole life? Or even, like, most people have to wait till they're 60, 70 to retire, and then they can start thinking. But it's like, at that point, dude, you're fucking old. I mean, you're not old, but like, you're old, sort of. I was like, I don't want to wait till I'm 70. I'd rather wait till I'm like 30, 40, 50. Like, that's 20 to 40 years extra. And when you're 40, dude, you're young. 40, 50, like my dad's 50. Man's young as fuck still. And yeah, I know for a fact, if you spend more money on stuff that's going to bring you money, you can be rich one day. And it'll happen. It's not that difficult of a concept once you grasp it and accept. I think for a lot of people, they don't accept it. They kind of just look at it and kind of just get overwhelmed. And so they just push it out and just say, I don't want to worry about that. And so in their head, it just goes away, I guess. But I mean, how many of you, if you're listening to this right now, ask yourself, are you satisfied money-wise? And would you be at more peace inside if you didn't have to worry about money? And for almost all of you, I'd assume the answer is yes. Money stresses me out a little bit. I don't always have a ton of money. And yeah, I'd love to not have to worry about money. That'd be great. You could have that. It's going to take a little bit of time, though. And the problem with this generation right now, and I see it myself all the time, there are times where I succumb to instant gratification all the time, really. But the trick is understanding that and accepting it for what it is, saying, okay, sometimes I'm going to mess up, sometimes I'm going to spend money where I shouldn't, but as long as I'm on a trajectory that is positive in the form of growing myself money-wise, buying more and more things over time that are going to bring me money. So right now it's small things, right? In the game I talked to earlier, you start with small things, small stocks, even maybe penny stocks where you're just buying and selling quick to make a couple bucks. And eventually you're going to learn. You're going to learn the market a little better. You're going to understand about investing. You're going to kind of understand that money is sort of arbitrary and fake. You kind of just move it here, move it there. And you're going to go to bigger and better projects that are going to bring you more and more money. And over time, each one will bring you more money back. And that's how it happens. It just sort of happens. And when people talk about luck, like my Dogecoin that I bought a year ago happened to just be the one currency that blew up because of Elon Musk. And yes, that's luck, but it's also only luck because I bought it. If I didn't buy it, I would not be lucky. So there's so many opportunities where people get, in quotes, lucky, but they're not really lucky. It's like educated gambling, which is what I say. It's educated risk taking. You're taking a risk with your money to get more money. And you might be thinking, well, I'm just going to play it safe. Like, no worries. My mom is fine with money. But it's like, look, if your goal is not to be not barely making, but if your goal is to not have to worry about money, you want to go on a trip? I'm going. I don't care how much it costs. Like, if you're looking for that type of just peace of mind, you can't do what the middle class is doing because they don't have that peace of mind. The middle class is not about peace of mind. I'm good. I got this and that. The middle class is I have enough to get by and do a thing here and there, but I can't spend that much money, and that's not what I'm going for. And if that's what you're going for, then fine. You don't have to worry about this. You can pretty much just save and save over time. You'll have enough money to get by. You'll be all right. But if that's not your goal, then you need to do things that are not middle class-esque. You need to look at the things that the rich people did to accumulate their wealth. There's a great quote. This will be my quote of the day. In Rich Dad, Poor Dad, he says, if you have little money and you want to be rich, you must be focused, not balanced. And then I added on to that quote. This is me now. Balance is for the rich to enjoy after being focused. So there's like a little part 2 to that I added on. But if you want to be rich, if you want to have the things that other people don't have, you can't do the things that other people are doing. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And if you're, those videos on YouTube where it's like a rich person or a wealthy person saying, here's what I do in a day. And then people try and emulate it, waking up at 5 a.m., journaling, doing this and that. It's like, those are the things that they're doing now. They already hustled. All right. They already put everything ahead of their other goals and went balls to the wall and focused all in on this. And now they are able to enjoy a balanced, healthy, mindful routine where they can spend 2 hours getting ready for the day because they already put in the work. And it doesn't make any sense for me to copy a billionaire's routine because I'm not a billionaire. I needed to be doing the things they were doing before they were a billionaire, which is hustling, which is spending their money on the right shit, not buying stupid stuff. All right. And speaking of stupid stuff, I want to talk about NFTs. Not that NFTs are stupid. I think they're going to blow up just like everything else digital is blowing up. But there are some NFTs that you should buy and there are some that you should not buy. Now, what is an NFT? NFTs are non-refundable tokens. Basically, it is a digital copy of a photo or like a GIF or GIF, whatever you call it. And you buy it. That's it. It's just, yeah, it's a digital version of like a print. And I don't fully understand it because I don't care for that. But what does matter is there's a market for it. And it's a big, big fucking market. I didn't know this. If you are on social media, you will know that Logan Paul released some NFTs of like himself with Pokemon or something. And the whole concept of it didn't make any sense in my head. And I'm glad other people started talking about it, because in my head, I was like, there's no way this is going to appreciate. No way this Logan Paul Pokemon NFT is going to work long term. It'll maybe work for like a day. And lo and behold, every single person who bought a Logan Paul NFT went down because it's hype. Okay, nothing's wrong with Logan Paul. I love Logan Paul. He's one of my favorite social media people. But the concept of buying a Logan Paul NFT and thinking it's going to have value because maybe Pokemon, it's dumb. It's stupid. Okay, a Pokemon NFT will go up in value because Pokemon is established. Okay, it's not built on hype. Pokemon is a thing. People love Pokemon. Okay, Logan Paul is not an established like thing. Yeah, he's not like a legacy yet. You know, once he dies, more than likely he'll be forgotten. But when Pokemon's been around forever. It's going to be around forever. Okay, it's an established thing. Okay, when you're investing in NFTs, do not invest in hype stuff. Don't invest in YouTubers, social media people, because it's a very short squeeze. And the big problem with NFTs that is not like everything else in the stock market is that you pretty much are screwed if you miss your chance with an NFT. If you buy the NFT at $1,000, okay, and then they start losing hype, you will not be able to sell it. You can't lose 20% and sell it at $800. It won't work because no one wants it. Once it starts going down, nobody wants your shit. And the difference between an NFT selling that and a stock is you can sell back the stock, okay? Because it goes back into the whole like system, and you'll be fine. You can cut your losses, lose a little bit of money, but at least you make your money back. NFTs, you can't do that. You start the NFT starts losing value, you're done because no one's gonna buy it. Why would they buy a depreciating NFT? It doesn't make any sense. Okay, you're gonna lose almost all your money. Someone's gonna buy it when it's worth like $100 and you just lost 90% of its value. That's the problem with buying stupid NFTs. Okay, you need to be smart about what you're looking at. And only buy an NFT if it makes sense, if you love the artwork, if you think maybe this is an up-and-coming artist. Don't buy an NFT from someone who is already established, because there's no, like, actually, so I saw a video earlier, like last week, or a couple days ago, about this, explaining it really, really well. It was like, buying an NFT from someone who's already famous, but it's not like a legacy, it's not established, they're just like, currently they have hype. It'd be like buying a house in a neighborhood that you can't see what the other house is listed for, and you can't see anything else about the neighborhood. You don't know if it's a good neighborhood. You don't know if you got a good deal. You don't know if you got a bad deal. You don't know anything. You just know you bought a house. All right? It's stupid. It's so stupid. You need to know the value of the other houses so you can make sure you're getting a good deal. And you need to make sure the houses are selling. That way you can actually make your money back. Okay, don't buy an NFT with nothing other than hype around a weird, like a whatever, you know. Buy smart NFTs. NFTs are going to have incredible value, but you need to be buying the right ones. In the same way that stocks, the people who make, $100,000 off of a stock that they believe in, they think, okay, this is a startup company. I'm putting $1,000 or whatever into it because I think it's going to go big one day. And then 5 years later, they go huge, and then their stock splits in half, and now suddenly you have 1 million shares of this startup company, and now you're rich. That can happen with an NFT, 100%. But you can't be buying things that are already established. You have to find the up and coming. If it's already someone established, you're too late. Cut your losses, go to the next. Don't worry about it. Okay? And that's all you need to know about NFTs. It's just a digital copy of a print, and you get to keep it on your phone. You get to brag about it, I guess. I don't understand. I'm not going to buy them for me unless it's really sick. But even then, I don't care. I'd rather just not buy it. But yeah, I'll probably buy it to resell and to, just make some money off of, because it's going to happen. People are buying these things apparently. I don't understand it, but you don't need to, it doesn't matter. When you're trying to make money, you just look at what there's a market for, how you can get into the market for lower than you're going to sell it for. That's it. There's something else to stocks. There's something else to investing. So if you're worried about investing, if you're nervous about investing, you don't think you would know enough, take $10. Go into Robinhood. Robinhood's free. Open a Robinhood account. Link your checking account to it. put in 10 freaking dollars and put it into Google, put it into Apple, put it into Tesla if you want, put it into something that you know some stuff about, that you trust will probably be fine in 10 years, and put it in there and just watch the stock. Okay, and then maybe look up a couple other stocks and just see what they're doing. Get a feel for the charts. Basically, if the chart is looking like it's going in a positive trajectory, you're probably okay. And make sure you click 1 year, 5 year, 10 year to see how it's doing over the long period of time if you're thinking about investing in it. But that's all you need to know. And once you put in that $10, okay, you started, you began. Good job. Congratulations. You pretty much just started the rest of your life, because once you do that first investment, you realize it's so much easier than you thought. And it's nowhere near as scary as you thought it was going to be. And that's a fact. It isn't scary. Once you start getting the hang of it and getting used to the idea of, okay, I'm going to put this money that I don't need at this direct moment, okay? After you've put the money that you need aside, you've already paid for your bills and all that stuff, the money you have left over, take a portion of that, stick into something that potentially could make you a lot of money. But you need to know the risks. Yes, my money could go down the tank, but technically you don't lose the money if you don't ever sell it. So if you think there's a chance it could come back, keep the money in there, take the chance. But if you think that this stock is screwed, I made a bad decision, you might have to cut your losses. You might have to sell it. And that's okay, And over time, you'll begin to understand and learn which ones are which. Which ones should I just take the L and pull my money out and put it somewhere else that's smarter. And when you make a mistake, that's fine. It's going to happen. Not every stock every time you invest into Google, you're not going to always make money. There will be times where Google loses value. Another company passes them and you don't make the right choice. But it happens, But if you're smart about it, it won't happen that often and you'll make money. And look, the way I grew up, I just stick my money in a savings account and don't touch it for 50 years and it'll be $1 million. The reality is that's a slow, outdated process that it'll work. Like, it'll be fine, but it's not the life that I want. And so if that's not the life I want, why would I continue on the path that leads there? It'd be like if you literally had two paths, right? Here, look at the camera. Two paths. This one leads to a average life where you're not fully satisfied with anything, and this one leads to a life where you're satisfied, you're happy, you're content, you have money, you have all the things you wanted. Okay? But the thing is, you're doing things that lead to this one. The things you're doing every day, the money you're spending, getting high every day, that stuff leads to this path. It's on this path, and it leads to this end goal of mediocrity. And if you're cool with that, then yeah, keep going on that route. The problem is most people are on this route and don't want to be here, but they're stuck doing the same shit that is on this path. So adopt some of these path habits and go toward the life that you want. And one way, I know you're probably thinking, okay, Kate, what the fuck are you doing then? You're telling us to do all this shit. What are you doing? I'm taking small steps. It's very small steps. It's small things that you're doing on this path. And it's not anything crazy. Like, I want to be in a van life in the next year. That's my goal. All right, I'm saying for the first time on camera, I want to be living a van life in a year. I think that's my calling. Japan didn't happen. Everything's pushing me toward the Northwest to do this van life. And so there are some things I'm doing to open my subconscious to the idea, warming up to the idea of that. And that's doing things like going on TikTok and liking every single travel/van life video I can find and commenting on all of them to set my For You page and my suggestions to those types of videos, because I'll get more accustomed to it. I'll get more used to the idea of van life, because right now it's a little scary. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know anything really about van life that's like super deep and detailed. All I know is I kind of want to do it. All right. So another thing, I'm talking about knocking out the seats in my car and probably a few times a week living out of the car and just seeing what that's like, making sure it's what I think it is, making sure I actually want to do it. Why would I buy $20,000 worth of starting a van life and then a weekend be like, wait, I hate this shit? It'd be stupid. It'd be one of those dumb risks that you can avoid by making an educated, smarter decision and a smarter risk take by doing things like trying it out for a week. I'm going to go and I'm going to live out of the Prius. I'm going to drive across the country. I'm going to make sure I even sort of like it. If I like it and there's a chance that can happen, at least I'll have that experience versus going in balls to the wall, spending $20K on the van and everything, and then a week later hating it. If I live out of the Prius for a little bit and then I decide, yeah, this is something I want to do, guess what? I have the experience of doing that. I have some real critical thinking and experience under my belt. I'm gonna feel a lot better doing it, and I push back my my gratification a little bit. So I'm gonna appreciate the van even more because I'm gonna be like, dude, I was living in a Prius, I didn't have any room. Now I have all this extra stuff, and that's cool. I've thought about those things already in my head. I've visualized. This is a thing. Well, I guess I'll say it now because I can look back on it later. I have a visual that I've seen in my head countless times now, and I will make it happen. It's basically me in the van, and I'm sitting on top, middle of the night, probably in a national forest or something, and I'm just looking at the stars, and I'm seeing, those amazing pictures of the sky, like someone did a long exposure, you could see all the beautiful stars, like the Milky Way. I want to see that from my own eyes and be sitting there in the woods, no sounds, just the sound of nature. No lights, no people, just me on my van, sitting up looking at the stars. That is a picture in my head that I will make happen. And it's a picture in my head that I am counting on. I'm visualizing it every single fucking day. I want it to happen so bad. These are small things. Not anything. You're seeing all the things I'm talking about are not crazy at all. They're very, very easy things. But they're putting me on a path that's pushing me towards van life rather than pushing me towards a 9-to-5. If I was looking for a 9-to-5, I'd be sending out applications everywhere. I'd be researching jobs in my area. I'd be brushing up my public health speaking, or not my public health knowledge and shit. But like that's not what I'm interested in. The things I'm interested in are the things I'm researching: finance, van life. Like all those things are what I'm surrounding my life and my consciousness about. That way, those are the things that I'm naturally gonna just start doing things in that direction. And I wouldn't be doing those if I wasn't filling my head up with, videos and ideas and thoughts and all that stuff. So yeah, and then I'm about to get a Planet Fitness membership. That way I can have peace of mind that anywhere in the country, pretty much, I have a place to shower, I have a place to go, and be okay in. There's a Planet Fitness fucking everywhere. And so, yeah, dude, they're just small things, I'm thinking about doing some remote work. And I'm sort of dabbling online, trying to find the right websites to find the right type of job that I can do. Because I don't want to be spending all my time doing my work just in my van. I mean, honestly, it doesn't sound that bad because the extra time I get is doing the things like hiking, like driving in the van, going to new places, definitely picking up photography again. I'm really, really, really excited to get back into photography because I've kind of stepped away from it. I've been doing lots of video, a shit ton more of podcasting. I'm starting to not lose interest in my YouTube, like my vlogging YouTube, but my energy perspective is like shifting to this Joyage. And I don't know if it's the podcast or what, but I know for a fact once I start van life, I'll definitely be making more videos. But yeah, I mean, I'm just doing stuff to push myself in that direction. And I'm watching so many finance videos and surrounding myself with everything to do with finance and van life because that's kind of where my life is going in this direction. I'm not going to push back against it because that's the natural way that I'm kind of going. And so I'm like, okay, let me push myself in that direction and educate myself a little bit. That way I'm not just blindly throwing myself into this world I don't know anything about, If you don't know anything about stocks, go watch some fucking videos. Type in stocks for beginners and just sit and watch it, and do that every day for a couple weeks, and I guarantee you'll be a lot more open to the idea of investing after that. So do yourself a favor and become financially literate and learn some things like sales, some just tactics to understand the psychology of humans because that's all there is. It's not like you're taking advantage of people, but you're kind of like working the system in your favor a little bit. You're not doing anything to hurt anybody, but it's like, dude, these things are right in front of you. These opportunities to make money are right in front of you. Don't waste them, Like, take the opportunity. It's right there. If you knew some extra things about sales, about marketing, about money, you could capitalize on an investment that you otherwise would not. You would have just skipped over if you didn't know about, right? And for me, I think Bitcoin is on the verge of a huge, huge, huge transition into a more like solidified thing, and a lot of people are thinking that. So I'm buying in now because my friend was like, yo, Bitcoin just dropped like 10K, like are you sure you want to? I was just like, yes, dude, because Bitcoin's going to be at like 100K in a year, and then and they're projecting 1 million at some point in the future. And I'm like, dude, $55,000, $58,000, it doesn't matter. It's not even close to what the eventual worth of a Bitcoin will be. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say about finance stuff, because anything after that, you don't need to know. It's just stuff if you're interested in. You can research it if you want. Here's my random fact of the day. I found this online. I thought it was hilarious. So, you can't say the 3 words that I'm about to say without sounding Australian. You can't say good, I, and might. Might, good, I. Those 3 words. You can't say them and not sound Australian. You ready? Good, I, might. Good, I might. Good, I might. You cannot say it, even slowly. Good, I, might. You sound Australian. I was like, that messes me up because I was trying to say it and not sound Australian. It's literally impossible. Good, I might. Good, I might. Fuck. Unreal. Wonder if an Australian was listening to that, if it would actually sound Australian or if it's British. I've never understood the difference between British accents and Australian. They all sound like sort of the same, but I know those people get like super, like they hate that. They hate when people mix those up, you know what I mean? I remember one time I was in college and I one of the girls was checking in. I was an RA and I saw her uniform. I was like, oh, like, I think I said something like, how was cheer practice? And she was like, I'm on the dance team, and like stormed off. And I was like, oh, fuck. But yeah, people are super like anal about getting things mixed up if they're like similar. So that's about going to wrap up the episode. I'm so happy I finally just filmed the episode, because all day I've been feeling like shit. I've been feeling so unproductive, and like I just wanted to film something, but I didn't know what to film. I didn't know how to start it. I found myself like kept going on my phone and like, you know, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, just going through all the social media apps just over and over and over, refreshing them. And I finally, it's fucking 11 o'clock at night, dude. It's 11 o'clock at night I'm filming this, but at least I got it done. There's just those days that just happen like that, you know. There's some days that just suck. And if you can just know that not every day has to be productive, not every day has to be great. And remember that one day, in a 1 week, in 1 month, in 1 year, in 100 years, one day is not a long time. If you have a bad day, it's okay. You will be all right. If you're struggling like I did today, I can't even tell you how shitty I feel today. I felt so bad about myself. But whatever, you know, it's fine. Some days I don't feel like that at all. Some days it's half and half. I just know that every day does not define me. You know, the shit that I've done in the past, all the stuff that's amounted to today, it doesn't define me. I get to choose that every day. Today I chose at 10 o'clock. I said, fuck it. I don't even care. I'm turning the cameras on. I filmed the first 20 minutes of this episode 3 times. I filmed it, deleted it, filmed it, deleted it, and filmed it and kept going. But I was so frustrated with how the first 20 minutes went the first 2 times, I literally just scrapped it. I deleted it off the camera. And yeah, it was just a frustrating day. And it happens to everybody, and that's all right. You're not going to have a great day every day. Some days you're going to have such a great day, you're not even going to think about it. And then the next day you have a horrible day and you're just thinking about how your life sucks and nothing ever goes your way. But you forget that the times where it's going right, you don't think about it. And a lot of people who like talk about praying and stuff always talk about how you only pray when shit's not going for you. You're like, God, please help me. But when things are going your way, you don't thank yourself. You don't thank God or whoever you're like all-seeing person is or whatever. You don't take the time to be grateful for when things are going right. So my challenge for you is on the day where everything is going your way, you know, you're happy, take a second and close your eyes and just be present and be so grateful that that day is so great for you. And take that win, take that dub and run with it, dude. Because there's going to be days where you feel like shit and you think nothing's going right and you're not going anywhere. And remember that there are days that are great ahead. Okay? There are great times ahead, just like there were great times before. You just don't remember it. And it's so hard to remember that feeling when you feel like shit. I know. Okay? There are ruts that happen and it is okay. You can get through this. If this podcast helped you in any way, please share it with someone. If you think they could benefit from finance or from mental health or any of those things, man, please like the video. It boosts the algorithm. It sends it to more people. I have a TikTok called, I believe it's Joyage Clips, and I have Joyage Official on Instagram, and I post all the highlights from each episode. I pick usually between 4 and 8 clips, and I just post it there. And it's a great way to get a feel for what the episode's about, and it's a great way to get new people onto the podcast, hopefully. And yeah, if you believe in it, if you believe in Joyage, joining the voyage, starting your own life, man, making big moves with small steps, then yeah, keep listening, share this podcast. I'll see you later. Have a great day.